Hi, everyone. Welcome to our webinar today. And this is Dr. Samina Ahmed. I see a lot of participants. Hello, Tamas from Hungary, and greetings to Joseph. So, right now we are in the month of Ramadan, and whoever is fasting, happy Ramadan to you. The webinar today is on gut health. So, science and research has proved that fasting is really good for our health. So that's something that a lot of people are doing these days. They are into intermittent fasting, whether it's a 16-hour or a 24-hour, people do their own thing. But everyone is trying to improve their gut health. These are my credentials. I'm a medical doctor with holistic health experience in modalities like energy medicine, Ayurveda, yoga, meditation, all the good stuff with no side effects. I am also on the Life Farm Advisory Board. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of interest today, in the webinar we're doing on breaking down digestion with Digestive Plus 3. So, how this particular supplement is supporting your existing system or supporting your body, which is used to producing natural digestive enzymes. So it's such an important topic. And for all those people who are on that right now, I want to tell you that I became a medical doctor and I studied medicine. I saw many patients during that because my first rotation was in internal medicine in the senior gastroenterology unit in Pakistan, where I come from. So interestingly, 70% of my patients or people I saw as outpatient had gut health issues. Interestingly, that was one system that was the most affected. And then over a course of years, because I've been in this field of health and wellness for over 4 decades, I realized even when I went holistic on that path that the most important system in your body that you need to take care of is your digestive system. If your gut health is good, all systems in the body will operate well. But if your gut health is not good, there's no way you can be healthy. It is the most unprotective system in the body. I think I've mentioned that in the previous webinars, that all other organ systems have a protection, whether it's bone, whether it's some other organ protecting them or extra muscles. But the gut, starting from, when you put your food in the mouth, that's an orifice, an opening to the part where the undigested food leaves your body, which is your rectum, from there to the anal canal and out. Uh, there is no protection as such. It's lying there in the body, and so it's exposed. And it's so important to take good care of it because it's literally also, we always say protect your orifices, whether it's your nose, mouth, your anal, area, all that. These are orifices in the body. So there is always a chance for your body to get viruses, bacteria, or parasites, or even or any kind of intruder from those orifices. So let's look at this diagram. That's your human digestive system. And if you see, it starts with, I think they haven't made the mouth, but esophagus, which is your food pipe, then the stomach. And you have small intestines where they have written before that duodenum, part of that, duodenum, small intestines, large intestines, and then the rectum. So this is the where the food is going to enter the body and get broken down because it's not in a state where it can be absorbed. So you have to literally break it, make it small. And that's why I tell people that you have 32 teeth, you need to use them to chew because we always say that literally you can complete 80% of your digestion in your mouth if you just chewed 32 times every time you put anything in your mouth. You chew it 32 times, it breaks up and becomes like a gooey sort of substance. Then your body parts like your esophagus or your small intestines, large intestines don't have to work that much because it's already broken down so well. And you do have enzymes in the mouth also, like salivary amylase, right? And so these things are important to know. We are always in a hurry. It's like that dumping syndrome. You try to shovel food into your mouth because you have no time for eating properly. Like we call it mindful eating, with mindfulness, with your mind on the food. You can't eat food with the television on and you're on the computer or you're reading a book or a newspaper because you're not focused anymore. And so what happens is the whole process gets messed up. It's so important. The mind and I always tell you the gut and the mind are connected. And then I also tell you that the gut is the biggest house for your immune system. Your 70% of your immune system is residing in the gut. And what is that? All your immune cells, which are going to help you in combating any disease. And then the microbiome, which you know about, the good bacteria, which are sitting there, in the colon, they're helping you in your digestive process. And you need to make sure that they are functional and they're doing a good job. So, what is the digestive process? You have to break down all the food. So, proteins have to be broken down, carbohydrates, fats, and sugars. They need to be broken down into a state where they can be absorbed by your gut. So that is where the digestive enzymes come in. And digestive enzymes are proteins which are just going to expedite or kind of make this process quicker. This is how the body is made or is functioning. It's got some assistance from these digestive enzymes. Okay, this is an interesting table. If you look at it, it's a graph actually. So in this XY axis, you'll see that you have the enzyme production happening on the Y axis, and on the X, you have the ages. So when we come into this world, we have a lot of digestive enzymes naturally given from nature to the body, right? So when you're in your when you're born all the way to your teens, your 20s, even I guess till your 40th birthday, you're good. But after that, you see that they start going down. The level of enzymes is going down. So initially, there is no problem in digesting food, although I have seen when you eat the wrong foods, it doesn't matter how good your digestive enzyme amount is, you will have bloating, you will have distension. So it's also about the kind of food you eat, the quality. But after the age of 40, all these enzyme levels go down. So one criteria for how much of enzyme you will have will be the age. If you're an older person, you are definitely going to need digestive enzymes from another source, which will be a supplement. So you also have to remember stress. Stress causes a lot of problems, and then enzyme levels go down. Poor diet, which I already mentioned. And if you have something like lactose intolerance, a lot of people have that, issue because milk has that sugar, which is lactose. And if you are lactose intolerant, then you need to take lactose free milk, or you need to eat or have an enzyme which is called lactase so it can digest that milk sugar. And when you have low enzymes, what are the signs? You will feel very uncomfortable. After eating anything, you'll feel like your stomach is going to become big, like because there's gases in there, there's fermentation happening. Incomplete digestion causes the problem. Incomplete digestion means that we are struggling to have the proper digestive enzymes. Okay, look at digestive enzyme blend over here. So we are going to do this slowly so that you can understand. Let's first look at the food groups. And you all studied science in school, right? So remember the food groups, they were proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. So just look at those four first. What is the enzyme that digests proteins? So the enzyme is called protease or peptidase. For carbohydrates, it's amylase and glucoamylase. For sugars, invertase, acid maltase. For fats, it's lipase. Now, there are some special enzymes for people who have difficulty in digesting some things, like, we talked about lactase. So, this enzyme will help digest the milk sugar or lactose. And then you have alpha galactosidase, which is going to help, when you eat broccoli or when you have cabbage or beans, you know how we get so gassy because it's difficult to digest these beans. They cause, they're very difficult to digest. They need a special enzyme. And so you need to definitely have the availability of that. If your body is lacking alpha galactosidase, then there'll be a lot of bloating. So look at the table on the right, because now that we know which is our food group that we have to digest, we know what the enzyme name is. We are going to tally it with an example of the food group. So I think you already know this. It's so simple. So proteins are example of proteins, eggs, meat, and dairy. What does it require for digestion? Protease. Okay, carbohydrates. What is the example of carbs? Simple ones: bread, pasta, and rice, which is the enzyme amylase. Then you have fats, and fats are examples: butter, oils, and nuts, which is the enzyme lipase. For dairies, milk, cheese, there is the lactose that we are actually worried about. It is the milk sugar. We need to break it down. And that is the enzyme lactase. And for beans, broccoli, cabbage, which come under the category of, sugars. So you need alpha galactosidase. It's going to digest the sugars which are present in beans, broccoli, and cabbage. So these are also called, the broccoli cabbage is called the cruciferous vegetables as well. Beans is in the legume family. That's what it's called. How does digestive support your body? So, if you remember, digestive does have probiotics, prebiotics, and also it has the enzymes. Now, a lot of times people get confused with probiotics and prebiotics. So, I like to give you an analogy, and you'll, remember this because you'll visualize a picture. So, I want you to visualize lots of fish, okay? Beautiful live fish, okay? They are all living fish and they are swimming nicely, okay? That's your microbiome, or where your gut houses the bacteria. So I'm giving the analogy of fish. These are all live fish, okay? And then these fish need food also because they are living things. They need food. So we need to give them some food. So prebiotic is the food for the fish, and probiotic are live fish. So I'm going to tell you to, hey, uh, your pool of fish in your gut, the colon, is really decreasing because we are aging or something, or there's some gut disease. Let's give you some more fish. Now you're going to take that fish, you take it inside, it goes and settles where the gut microbiome is. And then I'll say, hey, wait a second, we need to feed the fish. What do we need? I need to give you some food which the fish like. So you put that in your body, and now the fish are happy. So another analogy which you will remember is flowers, in a beautiful garden. So flowers are great, they are living things, but what do they need to really survive and to be healthy? They need fertilizer. So now imagine that the prebiotic is the fertilizer and the probiotic are the flowers, right? That you need in a garden. So here again, to come back to this, we have bacteria, the good bacteria living in the gut microbiome. That is your the probiotic. They become less in number, so we try to give you more bacteria, and they are in a shell, so they are protected from the acid in the stomach. Then we also have, in the digestive plus 3, besides the probiotic, the bacteria, we have the food for the bacteria, and that is the prebiotic. So how is that helping? Okay, so you have something in that digestive, which are enzymes, which are breaking down proteins, carbohydrates, fats, and sugars, right? And what happens when these sugars and carbs and proteins break down and the fat. Obviously, your body will not get bloated because now it's literally, finishing the enzyme deficiency. So there's no gas, there's no bloating, no discomfort. And there's also elements which will increase absorption. When the food breaks down nicely, it gets absorbed. So these digestive enzymes are working alongside the probiotic and the prebiotic. So this is the beautiful picture of you having one pill called Digestive Plus 3, which is a combination of three things. It's a three in one: digestive enzymes, probiotics, and prebiotics. And that's going to lead to a healthy gut. So it's amazing, the science behind all this. Okay, today we have some experiments for you, and this is an experiment that was done on oatmeal. And you know that oatmeal is a carbohydrate, it's like eating a cereal. So let's look at what we are going to do with the oatmeal. You can see the glass on the left side is a control, the one on the right is the one which we are going to test. So first we put oatmeal, 2 tablespoons, then we put some warm water. And now, in not in the control but in the one with the one of the glasses on the right, we are putting digestive. And now you're stirring it, right? So you keep stirring it, and you want to see what happens when you put that digestive in it. And I'd like to thank Kimberly because she's the one who actually initially did this experiment. So look at the clock now. So these are seconds. It's just quickly moving on, and slowly and gradually you'll notice that the cup or the glass on the right side where you added digestive to the oatmeal is going to definitely show you that it gets a little gooey. I think it gets more gooey around 2 minutes, whereas the one in the control is just not losing any shape. It's just staying solid. So after 2 minutes, if you notice that the glass on the right side, which had oatmeal and warm water and digestive, the powder, it became more gooey. So that's showing how digestive has the potential to digest carbohydrates. Okay, this is our second experiment that was done on cornstarch. And the experiment is going to show you with the control on the left side, on the right, and the other is digestive. We're going to put cornstarch in them, and 2 teaspoons of cornstarch, okay, and that's on both sides. Now we'll put iodine. Iodine is usually used because whenever anything has starch in it, iodine's color will change. You'll put iodine and the color changes, it becomes purple. And so in this glass, the one which says digestive, we have put the whole powder of one capsule, and now we are stirring it. Like every 3 minutes, you stir it, and you keep stirring constantly. The color is fading. At 5 minutes, the color really changed for the glass which had digestive in it, because what's happened is digestive started digesting the starch, and it broke it down so much that literally that cornstarch was totally digested after 20 minutes. And that's why iodine is literally disappeared and you have a change of color, whereas the control is still showing that the starch has stayed the same. No digestion took place over there. So that's amazing. I love this experiment that within 20 minutes you could see how powerful digestive was in this experiment. We have one more, and here we have fat digestion is what you're going to see. So let's see that. 2 tablespoons vegetable oil in both the glasses with warm water, and one digestive capsule only in the experimental one. And if you see, you can see that oil floats, right? And after stirring it, we will start the stopwatch, and you see that glass which had digestive plus 3 was able to break down the fat happening like around 7th 8th hours. So we noticed that 20% of the fat was able to break down, and so that it had to leave the edges of the glass. Amazing that it took 1 day for that oil to leave the sides of the glass and show that. So of course, fats are going to take longer to digest, and that's why in Ayurvedic medicine, when I was training, they always said that try to avoid, cooking your food or frying your food too much in fat, because it puts a lot of burden on your body and on your gut. So, in a way, I remember was taught how to cook without any oil, and we did that. We would make a linguine pasta with vegetables, and we would use no oil at all, and we would just make the pasta with water, and Himalayan salt, and then we would get a bunch of veggies, whether it was different peppers or cabbage, carrots, everything, and just put them on the stove. And we called it sautéing, but we weren't. It was the water of the vegetables which was basically cooking those, steaming them. And in order to make the taste a little better, I remember our teacher, he took some peanuts, he took some cashews, and he took a little almond milk, and he kind of put it in a blender to make a little sauce for the linguine pasta and this vegetable, and with black pepper, salt, and we would just mix all that. So, just learning about how to make your food without putting too much oil is such an important thing. But sometimes we do like the fried foods, and it's okay. So then you can use digestive. That's the solution. Who can benefit from digestive? Now, people who have bloating, indigestion, or gas, people who have enzyme deficiencies like lactose intolerant people, people who eat foods which are high fat foods or high protein foods, and people who are aging. They would be the ones who will really benefit from digestive plus three. Now, I did want to, as we are waiting for any questions to come up, look at this fact. So, 90% of serotonin, which is the happy hormone, is actually manufactured in the gut. So, people who have a healthy gut, they will always have a smile on their face, they will have a good mood, they won't have mood swings. um, they won't be like angry and temperamental all the time. They'll just be happy, because imagine 90% of that hormone which makes you happy is actually produced there. So those are interesting facts. And I also wanted to share another interesting fact, that about 100 trillion bacteria are actually in the gut. 100 trillion bacteria. And do you know how many cells you have in your body? You have only 30 trillion cells. So it means we are more bacteria than we are cells. Human cells are less than the bacteria. So we do need these bacteria, and they say that these bacteria weigh 3 to 5 pounds, which is almost the weight of your brain, which is fascinating. It's crazy. Oh my God. And your gut also has what we called a second brain. It's like I had talked about the heart health, and I said there is a brain in the heart also. So there is a second brain in your gut, and we call this the enteric nervous system. Enteric, the word comes from the gut. So about 100 million neurons, which are more than the neurons in your spinal cord, are present in your gut. And they have an example, when we say, oh, I have butterflies in my stomach. When do you get butterflies in your stomach? When you're nervous. So that is the connection, of how, if you're nervous and you're anxious, your gut is going to respond, because it literally has a brain of its own. And, you know,
Hey, Dr. Samina, this is Winston.
hi, Winston.
How
How
are
are
you?
you? It's good
Uh,
to see you
Nice
on
to
the
see you, Dr.
webinar.
Samina, again.
I'm sure the participants are very pleasantly surprised by your presence.
And again, if there is a question, maybe I'll pass it back to you because you're the expert here. So if that question ever comes up, I'll pass it back to you. But thank you so much again, Dr. Samina. We've been having this product now for a couple years, but that was a great refresher course, just to remember all the great things and all the great benefits that Digestive Plus offers. And those were great videos as well that Dr. Samina shared. I know some of us are not, brilliant medical professionals like Dr. Samina. So that's why those videos are great, because they do a great job explaining and showing visually how the digestive product works in your body without you having to go through all the science and all that. And as you know, seeing is believing for a lot of people. And so I encourage you, if you're trying to influence a prospect about the benefits and the great gut benefits that digestive offers, save those videos as part of your toolbox and use those as ways to show people a visual evidence to show people that digestive is working in your gut. So again, thank you so much, everybody, for joining the call. We really appreciate it, and thank you again, Dr. Samina, for the wonderful, wonderful explanation. And we'll see you guys on the next call. Did that question ever come in?
Yes,
Oh, it
we
did.
have.
Okay, go ahead.
So I'm going to take that. Thank you, Winston, for explaining everything so well to our guests who are on this webinar. And the question is for Helicobacter. Now, H. pylori is a very, I feel that that's such an issue for many people. And, since I've done the medical part of this and also the holistic, I can tell you the most difficult and stubborn thing to get rid of is the H. pylori. And what do I suggest? So, in my experience, I would definitely tell you to go that route of doing that breath test to find out if you are H. pylori positive or not. So, go to your gastroenterologist, get that test done, find out if you're plus or minus. Many people will come out positive, and I know that. Now, the doctors will put you on an antibiotic regime, which is 3 antibiotics are given together for a period of about 6 weeks. Take that. I'm not going to stop you from doing that. But simultaneously, I would want you to take some prebiotic, probiotic, and digestive enzymes. Because if you really want to have a healthy gut, these are required. A lot of times, doctors do not prescribe probiotic, prebiotic, and digestive enzymes. So, my recommendation will be go that route, do all that, take the antibiotics. But I want to tell you something, whenever you take an antibiotic, do you know it takes 6 months for the gut to actually repair itself after that? Because the antibiotic destroys the good bacteria along with the bad bacteria. And so now you're left with a very deficient microbiome. So you need to feed that microbiome also. And like we have our great product, Digestive Plus 3, please try to take that. Take any supplement that you decide to take for at least 90 days before you decide whether you are seeing any effects or not. Any supplement taking for less than 3 months is not really going to show much of an effect. So that was your question. And before we leave you, I always want to tell you like everything, the synopsis of it all. So if there was anything that I wanted to tell you today that you want to take away with you is, please take a product which has prebiotic, probiotic, and also digestive enzymes. You must eat fermented foods. They are very good for your body. What is an example of fermented foods? Kimchi, kombucha, and basically uh, things which have been and I know Korean people and people in Asia are eating a lot of this sauerkraut as well. So fermented foods are really good for your health, and you must make them part of your meal. So what does a healthy gut look like? And I want you to visualize. You need to have four things. You want to have good digestion. So that is the first thing, good digestive health. Number two, good immunity. Number three, energy. Number four, the most important, to be in a good mood. If you're not in a good mood, blame your gut. Okay. So stay happy, stay healthy, and stay blessed. Stay blessed, my dear friends. And I look forward to seeing you in my next webinar. Thank you so much.